What's up, you guys? Here we go. We have the third day. We just finished with the third day, and it's another green day. The 2-day price action was very difficult for me. Even we traded 5 times, 4 of them was a winner, 1 of them was a loser, and unfortunately, the way I see the past, the price action moves. It moves in a burst. So for a set time period, we have a very choppy price action, and then from that point, either a breakout or a breakdown. It's very sudden with a burst of volume, and then basically this is only 1 or 2 candles, and after that, again, we're settling in the next level of choppiness. And as we trade options, right, we have to be very precise with our entries, because in the options it has a time element, a time decay, which is basically as the time passes by, getting closer to the expiration of the contract, it's basically eroding the price. So it doesn't even matter if the underlying reaching back to the same level as it was when you entered, but your actual contract price never gonna reach that level again at the same price level. So your price in the next level have to break out again just to get break even on the contract. So I will explain to you guys probably in another video how exactly the options and the option contracts are working. But when you have a very choppy market, is very difficult to take price action, because if the price move against you, then basically your contract price suffering a lot, and you hitting your stop losses very quickly, especially on the small account when you have to be a tight stop loss. Is just difficult. We again managed to make 4 winning trades and 1 losing trade. Also, what we have to know, that today it was somewhat expected to be a choppy day, especially for me, because yesterday we broke down a very long standing demand level, right? Is on the higher time frame, we have to look always to the higher time frame. Even if we take our trades on a small time frame, we always has to be aware what's happening in a big picture. You know, we just cannot be in a bubble and hope for the best, because unfortunately accounts can be very quickly be decimated if we have our mindset as we are right. So we just want to stick to our ideas and never give up. And unfortunately, if we hold this mindset on the stock market, when maybe in a real life, you know, it's come as a resilient person, unfortunately in the stock market it just does not work, because the market is gonna slap you around a couple of times, and yes, you just have to take always what the market gives. And as I mentioned earlier, it's very important, a plan with execution, with stop losses. If you have to add to it, that also can be in the plan as you move away from your part. But again, the most important thing, your plan, and follow the plan, be disciplined with your plan. First of all, you have to build a plan what is proven to be profitable. My plan, it is, as we can see it, I have to check my records, but we traded probably about 11-12 times in the past few days, and I think today we had our second loser. So probably we're trading in an 80% winning range right now, which is very, very, very good. So let me break down the trades, what I took today. I'm gonna go over what did I see, why I entered, and unfortunately on the loser, I gonna reference back for yesterday, why I took the trade, where I did it. Unfortunately didn't work out, and again we have to take our losses because it is no plan 100%. Doesn't matter what you see on other channels, and only they give you the rosy pictures, the tens of thousands of dollars winning trades. That's just not gonna happen in reality. Is not even a debatable question. It just will not happen. So let's just get into the trades, and let me break it down for you guys. Here we go. So we're gonna do the market recap for the third day, the third green day in a row, which is excellent for the small account. I have to correct myself a little bit. Actually, I took 6 trades today. 5 of them was a winner and 1 of them was a loser. So let's go over the trades, what we did exactly and what was the reason behind it. So as I mentioned earlier, yesterday we broke down a very important long-standing demand zone, which was the 410-ish area, and with that basically also we broke down a trend line, which again in this case basically we can look at it as a little bit of bull flag. If we go up and put our trend line over here, so then this little one over here, we can consider it as a flag with a breakdown. So basically what happened is we moved lower, a lot lower. Because of the sudden drop, we reach our potential next demand zone, right? Because this is, we can consider it as a next level demand zone. For me, it was around the 550, 560-ish area. Usually the whole numbers are sound to be drawn somewhere around demand zone or included in it. For me, the 406 was never a level. As we can see, the price actions prior, that's really never played an important role in the whole big picture of the price actions. So as we can see over here, all these breakdowns and the levels, the pivot levels, the support levels were under 406. It was around 460-ish area, and we came down basically yesterday. That's where we had the day low, and also today that's where we had the pre-market low, right around this area. And if we're looking at the little bit bigger picture, as the day started, we had a little bit of run up on the pre-market, and right before the open we dropped. And if we look at it over here, let's look at just this way, because of course we never know what would happen next, right, on the stock market. And that's what we always have to keep in mind. Let me take these levels out of. So it will okay, so on the stock market we really never know what will happen, right? So let's just zoom it out this way, and if we look at the big picture, this basically, to me, it looked like an inverse cup and handle, right? We have the cup, we reached the bottom. On the pre-market, exactly, we reached the same low, we moved up higher, and then before the market opened, we started to come down. So what I was thinking, if we can broke the pivot level, I would enter and target the lows. And exactly that's what I did. I entered in 955 and exited 1014. So if we zoom in, I entered, let's put our little arrow, 955 as the candle broke. And as I mentioned, it was a very, very choppy morning, and in just general, we can see wicks on top, bottom. Even if it's moving one direction, it's very, very choppy. So basically what happened is it broke down. I didn't take my profit because the price action was very little, so the actual contract didn't move much. So it came back up, but it never reached my stop. So I stayed disciplined and I stayed in my trade. And as it was continued to breaking down, I had my next level, which is what we talk about, is the pre-market low and also the yesterday pivot low. And then I exited on the 1014 candle, which is this one right here. So this price movement, yeah, I see it goes a little bit lower. But what I did today is, because of the expectation of the choppy day, I traded with a lower contract size. So I needed also a little bit bigger movement to get to the money, which it never clouded my judgment. As it reached my plan, I exited. Even if it's run lower, I never re-entered. I never give in FOMO. The 405, that's an important level. For me, the next bounce level, basically, and I mentioned yesterday, it was the 405.50-ish area. And as we can see, the price hold it just a little bit over there. As it turned out, it wasn't a big support zone, and it broke down, but the 405, let's just go back, but the 405, it's held it nicely, and I was thinking to enter with the 405 and go long. But also what came in mind, in a small account, at this point over here, we have no money management, right? Where we would place our stop loss right here. So basically, I never entered, and also on a small account, basically, let me see, as all this is dropping at 405, you planning to jump front of the freight train, right? You don't know if it's gonna stop or not, and because you cannot place a proper stop loss, it's just better not to do it. So it went up higher, and we missed this trade, which was a very nice trade. From the 405, we reached one full point, which on the contract sign is give a very nice profit. And then, as I mentioned, we started to chop around. So we was chopping around over half an hour before it break out, right? My second entry, unfortunately, I took it right in the middle of the chop, and I decided it was in 1043. It was on this candle as it broke out and made a new high, and I was thinking once we had a little pullback, and then we're gonna start to make a new high, target the VWAP. But as it continued to chop around, basically I exited 2 candles away in 46. As it went a little higher, it was a very little profit, but we take it. Green is always green. You never can go broke, take profit, right? So as the price moved higher, I wasn't participating any of this. Even my original idea was to go higher. I decided not to enter because of the choppiness. So at this point, I was sitting out this whole price action as it went higher, broke out. I never did take any trade within this area. So let's just put our little arrow right here where the exit was. Actually, let's just move it 2 candles away. Let's grab it right there. All right, so at this point we have 2 out of 2 winners. Our next entry up in this area, and at this point I was thinking to go short. And the reason why I was thinking to go short at this area, as we discussed yesterday, we had any significant previous price action in this voided area. And I think as it come up over here, the price gonna hit, and as we can look at the pre-market and the yesterday price action, as we're gonna hit this pivot level between 407.43 and 60, the price will turn around and gonna go back down south. And exactly that's what happened. It's just the price action did what I was thinking, but my entry unfortunately wasn't the right time. And we have to take our losses as our plan dictates. Because if I'm not selling it over here, it goes up high, we are upside down for a very long time. So basically this one is give us almost an hour of choppiness right here, this price action. So as I entered here, the price shake me out, so I never it wasn't a big loss. Let me see, we entered actually 1010. Yeah, this was what we were discussing, and the next entry was at 1042. So our next entry, so next entry 42. As we broke down, we made a new high, we entered as anticipation. It will never reach the new pivot high. So basically I entered 42 right here as we had just a little candle wick to break our candle. it was a little choppy around, and then basically as it broke out from the previous highs, I exited on this candle even before it break out, because as I saw in the volume, it was increasing, so that was an indication for a breakout. Let's see what was the actual exit. The actual exit was exactly at noon. Yeah, exactly as I mentioned, it was in this candle right as it broke out and made a new high on the previous candle. And this price action is really connected. This price action is really connected to my next entry to go short. As we broke out, I draw a little bit of channel right here from the yesterday low to the two-day low and the pivot high. So that would give us a channel to trade, and in this case it gives us the channel high in this case. So, and it was really confluencing with my idea of the voided area, how to trade. So my next exit entry in 19, my next entry was exactly this spot right here. As we can see with the price action, this was moving very suddenly. My original plan was as it broke the low, but I didn't get filled. It happened a couple of times today. My fills, my orders didn't go through, but regardless to that, this was my entry based on the breakdown of this very tiny bull flag. I entered, and to tell you the truth, and this is this is to the thumbnail, as I was exiting, scaling out, I left one runner what is almost reached 100%. Actually, it did reach the 100%, but unfortunately, again, I was never filled, so I had to take it just a little bit before 100%. And in this case, I entered into my trades at 52, and I exited the last runner as it moved lower. I was scaling out, and the last one I exited 117. Actually, right when it broke. Let me delete this one. And at this point, this was my last trade. I added to my trades within this area to break down. So this is, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually I'm sorry, I did, and this is why I got confused prior. I entered one more in 152 as the anticipation of the breakdown. 152, the anticipation, I'm sorry, 149.52. The anticipation of the 405 breakdown, and I exited 202. It was a very quick trade. 202 right here again as it broke. I don't like to hold as it break lows, again, because of the wicks as we break the day low, right? We discuss it on every single day as it break the lows. we tend to have a wick and the price turns around. And exactly, if we look at the 5-minute, exactly that's what happened on the next candle. Let me just go back. Right now the price, it moved further down, but at that point everything was very choppy, and as it moved down, as we can see on the next candles, this price movement over here, it's already would give you, at least based on my plan, would give the stop to my entry. So again, 6 trade, 5 winners, 1 loser. Even on the loser or entry idea was great, and exactly that's what happened, what I thought it will happen. Unfortunately, just a little bit later on the day, but we have to take our plan as granted, basically, because it's a very profitable plan. It's over an 80% winning rate on this plan. Hopefully we're gonna be able to keep it up, these numbers, and we just have to be disciplined, and then basically is nothing to worry about. And at this moment I got some messages regarding to the small amounts, right? But what we have to consider, we trading a small account, right? And what I was referencing in my intro is the flashy Lamborghinis and all this kind of stuff, and the luxury lifestyle. What basically in a lot of channels they just try to lure you in to buy courses and all this kind of stuff is not necessarily sustainable. Yes, it has traders who can do it, and clearly achievable, because I know it's achievable, but the packaging as they selling it to you is not achievable, and not that way. As you come in to the stock market and a week from now, a month from now, you're becoming a millionaire, and you be able to afford all that luxury lifestyle and watches and cars and traveling and all that stuff, what basically these channels are promoting. And if you remember in my intro video, this is exactly the reason why I started this channel, just to see how we can build a small account. Is this right now is not showing the luxury lifestyle, right? Because we trading a small account, we have to be disciplined with our entry, we have to be disciplined with our stop losses. And as we build accounts little by little, right, your account is gonna grow, your or contract sizes is gonna grow. And as we take our trades, what will happen, we're not gonna change the trading plan itself. What basically we're changing is the size, the number of the contracts what we're taking. Our entries is gonna be exactly the same as we do right now. Let's just do a little breakdown. If we're buying 10 contracts, right? Just to keep it simple. If we're buying 10 contracts and one contracts cost basically $1, in a contract size we have to multiply by 100. So one contract is cost us $100, right? What will happen is basically if we make just a 10 cents move on a 10 contract, then we made $100. right? And it's basically this is how simple it is once we have 10 contract on a $1, it's cost us $1,000 to buy the 10 contract. If it moves 10 cents away from our price, we made $100. If it moved 20 cents away from our price, we made $200. And then basically that's the main idea to it. If we're raising our contract size to 20, then the exact same movement, the 10 cents movement, is going to give us $200 on our trade. 20 cents is going to make $400 on our trade. And as we adding to it, raising our contract sizes, with an exact same movement, basically our profit is going to go up. And we're not changing anything on the principle of the plan. And let's leave it in there for now. This video it just run a little bit longer because it's so much things to talk about on the stock market, and it's very, very interesting and complicated at the same time. So leave it here, and let's just finish it. And always, and right now, I think my phrase is very, very relevant. Don't try to be a wannabe. Learn, study, and be greater as each day passes.